Hello everyone, in this video I will be showing you a master level concept which I call pawn stop. Okay, so the pawn stop, you can think of it as a pawn obstruction, not allowing the pawns to move forward to give some chances of defense for the opponent's king. Okay, so here in the current position, and I'll be showing you two positions by the way. The second position will show some crazy things regarding evaluation bars that the computer doesn't recognize right away. But in this first position, we need to be precise and we need to be forceful with certain things. And the idea of preventing the pawn push is that we need to find certain moves. In this position here, we need to be forceful by finding the move Queen G5 check. Queen G5 check, the idea is that we would like to bring the opponent's king towards the corner, towards the file, so that we can just have a rook left and then just give a checkmate to our opponent, right? So here, let's say they find the move Rook H8. Here, if we just bring our rook forward, here, let's say we bring the rook to E3, they can just try to like sacrifice the queen for the rook, right? And also at one point here, they will probably do something like this, just bringing the pawn forward. And it's kind of tricky to bring the rook up, because here they will just be able to defend a little bit. They can try to delay things here and there. Okay, so we need to be precise here. And if we also do like something like Rook E4, they also can try to delay things like this and then bring their rook forward like this. Okay, so we need to be careful. Like we're winning, but we're making things more complicated than they should be, right? So in this position, we need to be precise by finding the move Queen F6. Queen F6 now brings the king. Let's say it goes to H7, it goes to G8. It will be the same idea, right? So, or not same totally, but let's say the king goes to G8. Okay, so here we have to find the move Rook E4, not Rook E3 because they would just sacrifice the queen, but here in this move it's unstoppable. The checkmate in 3 cannot be stopped. And here let's say they just make a move like Rook B8. Here we'll be able to find the move Rook G4, only move for the black pieces here, because let's say if they go to H7, then you just have checkmate in 1. So here, let's say they try to go for the move King F8. Now here we have a few ideas. We have ideas of an unstoppable checkmate by bringing the rook here to H4 and then just giving a checkmate, right? So let's think about this. If they move the king like this, or if they try to, like, the king cannot move anywhere, right? So they would just probably sacrifice the queen, probably capture this bishop, and you would just still finish the game with a checkmate here, right? So another idea would be, another option would be to just sacrifice, not sacrifice, but give a check here with the rook and then just have a checkmate against our opponent like this. So we need to find these moves, just preventing the pawns to be pushed so that we don't increase their defensive chances for our opponent, right? We want to make forceful moves and just win the game as precise as we can do, right? We need to be accurate with things. So let's say the king here, after the check, the king goes to H7. So here still, again, we just bring the rook left here. It depends on like what our opponents do, right? So here they do a move like sacrificing the queen. You can just capture the queen, and then checkmate is unstoppable because you just bring the rook. Let's say they make a pawn push here, and you just bring the rook here to H4 with check, only move, and now you can just finish the game with Rook H8, or you can just bring the queen as well in this position. So I want to capitalize on the importance of preventing the pawn push. So the whole idea of pawn stop, right? We want to make sure that we don't give them hope. Okay, so now let's look at this second position. In this position, we are the black pieces. So we're the black pieces, we have the bishop pair, and we find the move here, bishop takes H2. Even though the evaluation, so first of all, we can see that the evaluation, it's saying it's a draw, slightly advantage for the white pieces depending on what move you find. Okay, so I'll be turning on and off the evaluation for you to see. And here we find the move bishop takes H2. Okay, so the evaluation kind of goes up a little bit for the white pieces. And then here it says, let's say like the king captures the bishop, And now we find the move. So the evaluation, again, you see like it goes up and down. We find the move queen h4 check. And it says that the white pieces are fine. And here, only move for the white pieces is to go king g1. And now you see the engine is thinking. But then after you find this move, bishop f3, the eval tries to think a little bit of what is going on. So and the thing is, like, I let this engine run for a little bit and I thought of this moves before, but previously, the first time I did it, as soon as I made the move bishop f3, the eval went to plus 2.2, advantage for the white pieces. And then after I run for a little bit, it brought the eval towards the black pieces with like negative 4.3 or so in low debt. The idea of this move is that if they were to capture here, and we can just turn the eval off because it's just winning for the black pieces. If they were to capture the bishop here, now they don't have any, the pawn on f2 can never be pushed forward to have the queen help the king. So they cannot do that. That was the idea of sacrificing the bishop here, but not because we wanted them to capture us, but also we just want to prevent this pawn push. Okay, so here we would just have to find the move queen g5 check. If the king moves somewhere, now we have a rook left. They would have to sacrifice a bishop and try to give away some pieces, but the checkmate is unstoppable. Let's say they make a random move, now we just have a ladder mate here on the h and g files. Okay, so here let's say after this move, they find the move knight d2. After this, we can actually capture the pawn here on g2, threatening a checkmate in 1. So if they capture the bishop here, we have the move queen g4 check. We push the king over there, and now we just have the rook left. And that's the idea of this, right? So here, if they just bring the knight, let's say they bring the knight here, we can just capture again, and we just repeat the same moves, and then we just have a checkmate here against the black pieces, right? So we need to be careful with the different responses. We need to be forceful with our checks, captures, attacks, and threats, right? So here, let's look at one more variation where they go bishop e2. On bishop e2, again, we don't care if they bring the knight here or the bishop here. We could try to leave the bishop there, and you're thinking, oh, we want to prevent this pawn push from f2. But here, if we just bring the rook up, there's a line where the white pieces can try to survive. And you would be capturing this. And if you just have a checkmate threat, they can sacrifice the bishop like this, and they can try to have the pawn push like this. And now you're down material in this position. So that is a very tricky line to find for the opponent. But here, for example, after bishop e2, you again take the pawn on g2, threaten a checkmate in 1, right? And the idea is, like, what if they go with a move like f3? Now we have queen g3. Yes. And it is very hard to stop all these threats. Now we're threatening this, we're threatening checkmate in 2. Let's say they don't do anything. We have just bishop takes f3 check. And that's actually just checkmate. I thought they had the h1 square, but they don't. They don't have any squares available anymore. Don't get too excited by capturing the rook, right? Because they can just capture with the king and they can try to run away afterwards, right? So we need to be careful here. So it is very tough to find. And again, if they just do something like this, we need to move queen g5 check. And then after they move somewhere, we can just bring our rook to f6, right? If they try to do something like this, we can just give a check like this. They have to give up the bishop, and that's just a checkmate with a ladder mate. So I hope this concept, which is a little bit tricky, can help you for your games. At least help you consider these different moves that you may have not seen before, and hopefully this helps you for your games, right? It's a new concept that now that you've seen this, your brain will be able to consider the options for your games in your certain positions. Okay, so I will see you guys on the next video. Please comment, like, subscribe to the channel. That helps us a lot. Thank you again.